Welcome back to this week's episode of Mystery Garage. In this week's episode, we talk wheels, and even more wheels. And we also bring in the Cabrio, do a little test fitting. Let's get to it. Alright, welcome back to another Mystery Garage. In last week's episode, we carried on with kind of the theme of getting all the cars up to speed for summer. They're starting to be, with the lifting of COVID, there's starting to be a lot more car shows and cruises and meets and cars and coffee and stuff that are really starting to open up. So I really want to carry on with getting every car that we can get on the road for this summer so we can really enjoy them. Then we're going to pull Stepchild back in and get back to work on getting that car done. Now, we've put in a little bit of work on the VR6 in the last little while. Last episode we did that on the Jetta. We got everything more or less up to snuff, at least what I can consider done for the summer. No project is ever really done in this garage, but we got the Euro front end on, new taillights on the back, got both bumpers tucked, good stance, good wheels, interior is nice and clean, nothing's broken, everything works. That car is an awesome little driver. Hasn't quite even hit 200,000 kilometers yet, so we got lots of life left in that car. It needs no maintenance, all the maintenance is done, so that car is ready to run and drive for the summer. So that one's put aside for now because we're going to start using that and taking it on cruises and that sort of thing. The next up is the Cabrio. I have been driving the Cabrio a little bit between episodes, but I want to drive it a bit more, but it's way too factory, in its current setup right now. We got a couple little issues to deal with. Got some stickers on the back of the car. The fuel the fuel gauge doesn't work, so we'll probably take a look at that today. Also got some wheels, so let me explain to you what I think that we got going on here. All right, so if you're into Volkswagens, you tend to have the same issue I do. Is you have an affinity for wheels. You collect wheels, and these are only a part of what I have. I have more in the house. I have rebuilt wheels that have been rebuilt and they're shined up, and I don't want to store them in the garage because they're too nice for that. But I also have these, and a little while ago, I want to say about a month ago, maybe a little bit less, 2 or 3 weeks ago, actually a viewer of this channel, thanks Matt, pulled an assist on a set of wheels for me. He actually found them, he sent them to me and said, hey, I think you might be interested in these, and I was. So I ended up messaging the seller, we made a deal. The challenge was, for those who don't know, here in the BC area, we have an expansion of islands off of our west coast. These wheels were actually on one of the islands on our west coast, and with the current restrictions at the time of COVID, I actually couldn't travel over there to go get them. But this viewer, thanks again Matt, was over in that area anyway, so he made the deal for me, so he pulled the big assist on them. I was able to secure these wheels because they are pretty cool, and he ended up bringing them back for me. And then actually this weekend, restrictions were lifted, went to go visit some family for the long weekend, and I'll show you guys a little clip of what we did there. anyways, that was a really cool trip. We had a lot of fun visiting family, but while we were over there, we ended up meeting up with them, grabbing the wheels and bringing them back. So here they are. Let me show you what we got. So what he helped me pick up was this cool set of Keskins. Now these are something that used to be around a lot more back in the day. These are pretty aggressive. Just so you guys know the specs on them, they are 16 by 7.5 fronts, 16 by 9s in the rear, 35 offset in the front, 25 in the rear. So really cool set of wheels. These are not true 3-piece, but really the only non-true 3-piece wheels that I'd be really proud to run. These are awesome, made in Germany, very Volkswagen type wheels. These are going to look awesome on one of our cars. Now I brought them home. I posted on Instagram that I picked them up, and I kind of did ask, what car should I put them at? A ton of you guys gave me feedback. I know we talked about keeping the EA Cabrio as factory as possible, but I really think these would look cool on there. So today that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wash these wheels up. They're kind of dirty. This top one isn't too bad, but we're gonna wash up this set. We're gonna wash up the car actually, because the car is pretty dusty. We're gonna throw them on and see what we need to do for suspension adjustment to make these work. I am gonna keep the factory wheels, there's no question about it. I actually would like to take them off the car and actually have them refinished because they have some clear coat peeling. So that was kind of my attempt to, while I have them off and while I'm cleaning them up, to keep that car as respectably close to factory condition as possible, was to run these in the meantime. We also picked up a set of small spacers and stuff for these as well if we need to use them, so we'll throw them on and see how they fit. I also recently picked up these. These are Corrado 5x100 15-inch wheels. These are kind of in rougher shape, but I picked them up because I really like the look on the VR6 of these, and I thought, yes, we do have new wheels coming, but I thought in addition it would be cool to also rip these, clean them up and put them on the car and get rid of the steelies. And that's where the rest of these wheels come in. So here's the front steelies I have on the car. These tires are brand new. I've really only rolled probably 1,000 kilometers on this car on these tires. These are 15-inch tires, they're Toyos. I was gonna pull these off and actually put them on these. Now these are my Epsilon Southern Ways glides that I picked up a while ago. They're in Porsche bolt pattern, but these are 15 inch as well, and those tires would fit on these wheels perfectly. So I think I'm actually going to have those tires pulled off once we get these Corrado wheels put on the car. Have the tires pulled off the Steelies and tossed on these, and we'll also throw those on another car as well. And if for some of you who don't know, RareSpecWheels on Instagram, Alex, really close buddy of mine. We always talk wheels. We play with wheels a lot. He rebuilds wheels for anybody who's interested in them. I'll leave a link in my description. But a little while ago, he found these wheels in Japan. He hit me up and said, hey, Ryan, I really think you'd be interested in these wheels. And we ended up getting them. So he had them shipped over. So here's what we got. On initial look, I know these look like BBS, obviously because they have a BBS center cap. They're actually not, but they are 4x100 wheels. True 3-piece. They're 16-inch. I forget the exact specs on them. But today, while we have the Cabrio in here, I would like to test fit them and see how well the specs work out. And if they do work really well, then we will potentially rebuild these. Let me get this off here. There we go. So you can see 4x100 wheels, true 3-piece wheels. They are a little bit rough in current condition right now, but we got a good enough deal on it that it was definitely worth picking them up. There you go, you can see true 3-piece. Pretty rough, but we're gonna, Alex at RareSpec's gonna work his magic on these wheels. These are Hart Racing wheels. Now, where can I pick up the, right there. You guys can see that. 16-inch 4x100. I wanna say they were 7.5 or 8-inch wide. I forget, but we'll find out when it comes time. But this set should be pretty awesome on a Mark 1 as well. So we're gonna throw them on today just to test fit them to see how they look. And then when we like them, or if I'm happy with them, I'll send them off to RareSpec, and RareSpec will work his magic. Fully polished lips, new powdered and painted faces. Actually, sorry, we'll probably go powdered because one benefit of these wheels is they come with metal waffles. So we can powder these wheels really nice. We'll have to figure out what we want to do with the caps, because these are, like I said, the BBS cap fits in there perfectly, but they're not actually BBS caps. The nuts are true to the Racing Heart wheels, but the actual cap is incorrect. So I might find some, maybe some halfies. Maybe we'll just polish these ones up. We'll see how that goes. But I'm pretty stoked on these wheels. These are pretty awesome set of wheels. Thanks, Alex, again for the assist on that. So we got lots of stuff going on in the wheel game right now. So we have these Southern Glides. We have these Racing Heart wheels, which put this cap on. There we go. So full set there. Corrado wheels we're going to throw on the VR6 for now until the new wheels come in, and these Keskins we're going to go ahead and throw on the Cabrio. All right, a little bit of work to do to get this all done, so let's go ahead, pull the Cabrio over, spray it off, and start talking wheels. All right, here it is. Welcome back, the Cabrio, the EA Edition Cabrio. So for those of you who do not know, I will throw either a link in the description or one of these corners. I'll show you a link to the playlist of us picking this car up. We found this car for $900, which is an incredible steal. Brought it home, cleaned it up, got it running. This is a fantastic find. Sorry for the lighting, guys, a little bit off. When I actually went over to the shop there to grab this car, unfortunately the battery was dead. So I had to push it over here, took the battery out, slapped a new one in, car fired first crank, or letting it warm up. This car is incredibly dirty from sitting in that shop. You can kind of see on the hood. Maybe you can't, I don't know. The roof is all dirty too. The car is just filthy, so we're gonna do a quick spray off, and then we will bring it in the shop and test fit these wheels. And again, for those of you who don't know, this car is destined for a 180 swap. This motor right here is waiting to go into that car, waiting on the collection of parts to arrive. But for today, throw some cool wheels on it. One of the things I'm not a big fan of is a lot of Cabrios, as this one does. You can see it's got a bit of a reverse rake. The front has a little bit of a lift, and the back is a little bit sagging, and that's super, super common in the Cabrio. So what we're actually gonna do is test fit these wheels on the car, make sure I'm super happy with the fitment, and I'm gonna make a decision on whether I'm gonna go with kind of a sport cup kit, meaning like Bilstein shocks, H&R springs type deal, or we're gonna just throw on a set of coilovers. It's probably gonna end up in the coilover direction, but putting these wheels on will give me a good idea of how much lower I need to bring the car down, and get a good feel of where this car is going to go. And like I said, while these wheels are off, don't worry, I'm not getting rid of them. I'm actually going to send them off to get refinished because they do have some blemishes on them. So first things first, rinse this car off and get to work on it. This color is just incredible. It's hard to capture that on film, but I can tell you a good set of wheels, man, they can really make a car, and I'm super stoked on this. So let's go ahead and get this car in the shop and throw some wheels on it. All right, we are going to get started in the rear and get these on. And while we're at it, I'm also going to get rid of these bumper stickers that I've been looking at for far too long. That one's got to go, that one's got to go, that one's got to go. And these little gold stickers which don't belong, they also got to go. So let's go ahead and tackle this whole rear end. show you guys one more time because I'm sure in time lapse I piqued some of you guys' interest in what I was doing or how I removed it. Let me show you what I got here. So what I go out, I usually have a couple of these in my toolbox. These are super handy. They're called decal erasers, or if you're in the States, decal erasers. This is a 4-inch decal or decal eraser. Decal in Canada, decal in the States. I don't know why that's a thing, but it's the thing. So it says max 4,000 RPM. I just hook it up to my drill. And what happens is over time, this wheel will erode, and after you've taken the sticker off over and over again, eventually this will wear out. You don't want to ever go past this little line here on your wheel as it wears down. It'll start to wear down the edge. Don't ever pass this line, because inside of this line is where there's the metal disc that holds this thing together. And if you go inside of that, you're going to end up cutting your paint. So I would highly suggest that you just kind of test an area of this. But what you're basically doing is, if I were to heat gun this and try and peel it off, there would be residue on the bumper. If I were to try and peel it off, not only would my fingernails die, but it would be an incredibly excruciating, painful task. Now, one of my concerns is underneath this particular sticker, I think there's a blemish in the paint, a slight crack, so I am going to be delicate when I go over the edge. I think that's why this one is oddly placed, and RIP to anybody who loves GRFM, myself included, in my local area. But I don't love anything enough to have a sticker on my car, so all these are going to come off. But let me show you how we do this. I'll do this in real time for you. So you just get it on your gun, and then you just want to kind of tackle it at an angle, start on an edge, and move yourself in. If you're close to any plastic or anything, like this is against plastic or even on plastic, I would potentially try a different method, because this could irritate the edge of the plastic, let's say. So you could either use some painter's tape or what have you, but since this is on a smooth bumper, I'm not too worried about prepping any of the surface. Is go ahead and tackle part of the edge. Let me show you how we do it. Now, just like that. Now, much like the pencil or the eraser of a pencil, it breaks down as it takes the surface off. But what you're actually doing is you're actually smearing a little bit of the sticker residue. The longer you go at it, and don't press too hard, by the way, but the longer you go at it, it will take all the residue off. And then I come after with just a general purpose cleaner with a rag, as I did on the other one. You can see how smooth that is. You can see the sticker was right here, and you can't even see any kind of distortion in the paint. So again, I come back afterwards with a multi-purpose cleaner and get all the remaining part of the residue off. But let me go ahead and throw this back in time lapse, and we'll get back to work. Alright, I'm all done here, and I was right. They used that sticker to cover off a blemish, but at the end of the day, I'm actually happier having this showing than a huge sticker covering it up. This can be addressed, and we'll do that in a later date. It's not too bad. Anyway, much happier with that sticker not there. We can actually darken that up even with some touch-up paint just to make this go away for now until we do a paint correction on a lot of this. But the bumper has, you can see right here, there's another crack kind of thing. And the last remaining sticker that's just out of screen here on the left also has the same, it's stuck there to cover up some damage. So go ahead and pull that one off, and we will be all done back here. Look at that. I'm super stoked on how this turns out. It makes such a difference just tackling the little things on a car. Like, look how much cleaner the rear end of this car looks. Yeah, there's some blemishes in the bumper, whatever. You know, we'll deal with that at a later date, but it just looks so much better not having stickers covering the back of the car, especially big white ones and weird goofy ones. You know, also these wheels are looking fantastic. It looks awesome. Obviously this car is too high. We're gonna have to adjust the suspension, but right now what I'm gonna do, wheel the car outside. I gotta clean up the mess on the floor. We're gonna go ahead and flip it around and go ahead and throw the fronts on as well. Let's get to it. right, bit of a development here. We got some serious wheel gappage in the front, and I know my tire's a little bit flat, but that gap I cannot live with. In the back looks pretty good with factory suspension. I would obviously love coilovers and bring it down a hair for sure, but this front, I can't even drive like that for now. That bothers me that bad. So I think what we're gonna do is I went out into the shop and I grabbed the front coilovers from the Jetta. Those are still in pretty good shape. The biggest problem with the Jetta ones were the rears. They were just so stiff, they wouldn't really work. So what I'm gonna do for now, until I get a full set of coilovers, is I cleaned this one up. I still gotta clean the other one up. I'm going to pull that front strut and swap in this and dial that in, because I cannot live with that. So this is gonna take a little bit of time. It is a side step because I wasn't intending to do that today, but as you guys can hopefully understand, that is not livable. We need to do something about it. So let's go ahead and get this in there. Oh man, I'm so stoked. That turns out better than I ever thought it would. The front suspension was an absolute must, but it looks fantastic. But before I show it to you, we still gotta swap the wheels on the VR6 because that needs to get done because I wanna be able to take those tires off the old Steelies. So let's go ahead and do that. Once I'm done that, we'll do the big reveal on the Cabriolet. Let's get to work.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law.
Got so carried away, I almost forgot to test fit these wheels. So there you go, so it's 16-inch. Fitment just seems to be pretty good. I think that's gonna be awesome actually. If I had to, I could space it out with a little bit of spacer, but I am super happy with how that fits. Looks pretty good. I'd have to compress the suspension. And again, it's not gonna go in this car because this is 4x100, this car is 5x100, and we're doing race stuff with this car, but all these cars are the same, so just seeing how it fits, how the fitment works. And again, because this is 5x100, it wasn't able to fully bolt it up, but I think all things considered, fitment is pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So I'll go ahead and send these over to RareSpec. Alex will work his magic on it. We'll get them back. These might find their home on Stepchild actually, and I may sell those other RSs just based on fitment, fit, finish, that kind of thing. We'll see how it goes, but stay tuned for more on these wheels. Let's get back to work throwing these Corrados back on so I can show you this Cabrio.
Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night, try to catch me howling at the moon.
Did I ever mention it's still very hot? God. All right, I'm not gonna be wearing any car shows with these wheels, and I get that, but in a future episode, we'll probably do a little bit of cleanup on these. I can roll on these hold air. They're perfectly fine to drive on, especially on my rocks, because I can't drive on my slicks with the rocks. So it gives me an alternative set, plus I like something that matches the slicks. It's awesome while we wait for the new drag wheels to show up. Alternatively, then that allows me to then take these Steelies apart, take the tires off of these Steelies, put them onto these Southern Ways Epsilons, and we can start having some Porsche wheels for one of our projects. Those will go off to RareSpec and get rebuilt. These I will put in hiding for now, and eventually will get rebuilt themselves. These are the ones for the EA Cabrio. You can see there's lots of little imperfections on them. I would love for these to be absolutely mint. So that way, if it came down to collector plating this car down the road for whatever reason, it would have the exact, authentic, fully cleaned wheels it should have in the first place. So that was the wheel project for today. Now it's time to reveal the Cabriolet. All right, let me go on record first by saying this turned out even better than I anticipated. I am so happy with how this turned out. Obviously, I still need to get proper suspension. We'll dial that in. But as far as the look of the car, you know, the paint is pretty nice. The wheels fit and look amazing. The aesthetics of this car might be done other than cleaning up the interior and getting it back to perfect. We'll do a paint correction at some point in time without a doubt. But this car is looking street ready for the summer. And that's another one for the books. Let's take a look. That just goes to show you how much changing the wheels of a car can change the look of the car so much. This car is looking awesome and is begging for that 180 swap. Okay guys, that's about it for this week's episode. We got a ton coming at you in the next few weeks. We have viewers' cars stopping in, getting some work done. Got a couple of those. I actually got a motor swap coming in the short near future, as well as we got a ton of stuff going on. Drag night's coming up pretty soon with the VR6, so we want to get that finished up and out to the track. This car and the Jetta for now are done until we see a little bit more parts for this 180 swap, but got a ton coming for you guys, so stay tuned for that. Until next time, thanks very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Take care.